If my customer is on time, I've got 3 minutes to do this video, so let's try to wing this really fast. I did this video once before, but at that point I hadn't been using this car long enough or consistently enough to actually make a claim or to make a confident claim. Now I've been using it long enough to say I've been consistently making $200 or more per day driving with this old Corolla and a small trailer. So I feel confident to make this video. If we do the math, that's $73,000 a year, and that is after expenses. I am factoring expenses into that. That's if you were to drive every single day, which nobody wants to do. So I'm being conservative and saying $50,000 a year. That number is significant because that's about what you expect to make as a semi-truck driver these days. At least at kind of an entry-level position working for another company. I'd much rather work for myself, even though there are pros and cons, and I'm not going to get into them a lot in this video. This is more about being a how-to video, trying to sell it to you really quickly. This is the claim I'm making, and I want to tell you how. First of all, any vehicle, just get any vehicle, have any vehicle, use the vehicle you have, make sure it's safe for use on the road as much as possible, right? Everybody's starting with different budgets. You're probably not watching this video if you have a $500,000 startup budget. Even if you have a $20,000 or $40,000 startup budget, you're probably not watching this video. And I could make a different video, how to start a business with a larger budget. My big thing is start your business with what you have. Don't take out a loan to start your business. If you need to work any job and save up money for 5 months, a year, 2 years, however long it takes you to start up your business with the amount of money you want to start it with the amount of equipment and the type of equipment you want to start it with, just work hard and make that money, save it up, and then start your business when you can buy the stuff you want to use with cash. But one of the premises of this video is you don't probably have to buy much that you don't already have if you already have a vehicle. This is a 10x5 trailer. Right now I have 1,800 pounds of industrial fryers, of like restaurant grade fryers on it. I did pay for a custom axle on this trailer. It has a 3,500 pound axle under it. It has a single axle trailer. And I'm not going to pull 3,500 pounds with it with this car. But with even a minivan, most minivans are rated at 3,500 pound towing capacity, I could. This car, I'm not sure what it's rated at right now. It's pulling probably about 2,400 pounds, including the trailer. Pretty sure that's above what it would be rated at if it even had a tow rating. I'm not sure that the 1990 Corolla all-track wagon actually has a tow rating. But my suggestion to you, if you're starting a business involving the use of a trailer, go buy a trailer for $1,000 or less. Be careful, there are things that can be wrong with them. If the tires are bad, why are they bad? Is the axle bent? Is that why your tires are bad? That's why the tires were bad on this one when I bought it, which gave me kind of the unwanted, but eventually ultimately really useful opportunity to put just a heavier duty axle on it. Putting that axle on, including replacing the bearings and the tires and the wheels and the leaf springs and having it custom mounted, cost me $1,300. You can get a whole trailer ready to roll for under $1,300. But I really like this trailer and I'm kind of glad it worked out the way it did. You should, though, if you're careful, be able to find a trailer kind of like this for $500 to $1,000 ready to rock and roll. Just be careful. If things aren't working, don't assume it's going to be an easy fix. It might be, it might not be. The only way to know for sure is to see that everything looks good and works, the lights work and everything else works on that trailer to start. As far as getting a hitch on your vehicle, if you have a minivan or larger, I'd say even if you have a car and you want to start without a trailer, you can do that. Right now, I've reached kind of pro level. I had a customer actually today. I just got a shipment booked and it's not this one that I'm picking up now, it's the next one I'm picking up after I drop these off. That shipment is a hand-painted antique dresser, and it would fit in my car. I could carry it in my car, but I didn't want to carry it in the car because I already got stuff in the car and I want to be able to sleep in the car. And so I thought, there's no way he's going to book with me if I say it's going to go on an open trailer, but that's what I need to say because that's the honest truth. And if he doesn't book with me, it's not the end of the world for me. I'm already okay with what I'm making on this run. But I just said, hey, it may be transported on an open trailer. This is the type of packaging I'll use to keep it safe if it goes that way. I sent off that offer with very little hope that it would be booked. And then sure enough, a couple hours later, he booked with me, and I sent him a text again, reiterating all of that because I didn't want to show up and drive through Chicago to pick up and find out then that he's like, oh, I didn't see that. I'm not happy with that. So I just kind of reiterated everything. And he said, yep, I see on UShip. We'll get back to that. UShip is the best that I know of platform for actually getting started in moving things for other people for money, also known as the transport industry. USHIP.com. I hate to recommend them for several reasons, but it is the best way I know of to begin meeting customers and growing a reputation for yourself. So I need to mention that company. He said, yeah, I looked at your UShip profile. I saw that you are a pro carrier. I don't even know what that means, but I do know that I have about 150, maybe going on 200 now, positive 5-star reviews on UShip. And it's amazing what that does because now almost anything I offer on, if I'm kind of reasonably competitive with anyone else who's offering on it, I get it booked. I don't need a fancy vehicle to do it. I don't need a fancy trailer to do it. I don't need to exaggerate or build myself up at all to the customer. My profile already does that. Just all the feedback and ratings that they can go look at do that for me. And I have a pretty easy time booking things. So that's my advice to you if you're just starting out. Start with what you have. Even if you don't have a trailer, even if you don't have a hitch on your vehicle and you don't want to invest in a hitch right away, I'd kind of recommend you go ahead and do it if you can, because you're going to have an easier start if you do that. But even if you have a little compact sedan, just get your profile built on some sort of platform that's going to connect you to customers. UShip is the best one I know of and can recommend, and that's 100% of how I built up my customer base, where I now have customers calling me and asking me to do shipments. This one was nothing I searched out. The majority of shipments I do are things that I don't search out at all. I sometimes search for things to add to them because I'm always trying to make a little bit more on the run and also meet new potential customers, new potential long-term repeat customers. But this was something that my customer, who I've done dozens of shipments for, called me and said, hey, I've got these. They need to go from Indianapolis to Chicago. How much would you charge? And I look at it, I see what I want. I give him the price and he says, cool, go for it. He doesn't almost ever try to negotiate the price with me. I just tell him what I want and he says, cool, do it. So that's somebody I initially met through UShip. You need to just start doing a good job with the small shipments that you can find and that you can handle with your vehicle. And if that's a sedan, there are shipments out there that you can do with a sedan. One of my best customers, who's given me the most business, and who's just also a great guy to work with, that's Dave at Good as Old. He initially booked something. I happened to transport it in a pickup truck because I was already using that pickup truck to move a whole RV, and I added that piece on. But I could have transported the first piece that I moved for him in any car. I probably could have transported it on a motorcycle, because it was these pieces of slate, these antique pieces of slate that the customer was going to use behind a fireplace in the business that she was building. And it literally could have been strapped to the back of a motorcycle, and I could have transported it and won that customer over. And then I would have had to buy a larger vehicle for most everything else I've shipped for him, but I could have shown up, got the job done, and got the job done well on a motorcycle, and gained still one of the best customers that I've had. So you can literally start with any vehicle. Here's a word of caution that I wanted to say at the beginning. I'm going to say it now. I do not recommend this work for you if you are married and have a family. Just don't recommend it. You're going to be on the road a lot of the time. Maybe you have a way that you can make the job work for you. And I think there are specific ways, even without going into semi-trucking or anything. I think with a single car trailer and a US DOT number, there are ways for you to stay local if you're in a medium-sized or larger city. And I won't cover that in this video because that's like a whole topic by itself, how you would do that. But the over-the-road stuff, anything other than local vehicle transports where you have cars moving all over the city, short distances, and you're picking them up, dropping them off all day long, I would not recommend it if you have a family. But that's just me wanting to save you all of the pain and suffering of finding that out for yourself. But at the same time, the biggest thing I'd say is just don't invest a lot of money into this before you know what it is and whether you like it. And if you do invest a lot of money, do it in a smart way, buying used equipment that you can resell at approximately the same price that you bought it for, so that you don't feel underwater, you don't feel buried, and you don't feel obligated to do a job that isn't working for you if it isn't working for you. Get started in a way that allows you to get out if you want to. And I think that goes for probably any business, if at all possible. Try it out first without making huge investments. And in fact, while you're at it, don't make those huge investments ever until you're able to do so with cash. That's my opinion. But there's probably more than one way to go about starting a business. That's what I'm doing now, and it's really working for me. So that's my opinion, and that's my advice. What else? One last really practical piece of advice I'm going to try to give you here, and then I'm probably going to shut this video off and move on. If you're going to use a trailer, practice before you go out and start meeting customers. You need to be able to back that trailer up. You need to be able to back it around corners and into tight spaces. You need to be confident with that. You need to be able to pull through tight spaces. If you misjudge something, you need to be able to get yourself out of that situation without jackknifing the trailer and making it worse. You don't want to be practicing in front of a customer when the pressure's on. So go out in parking lots. If you're not experienced with a trailer, not only so you can look professional, but also so you can be safe with other people on the road, please go practice on your own. And then along the same lines, before you start moving heavy loads with your smaller vehicle, like I'm doing right here, get to know your vehicle, how it responds with a trailer. And if it's not safe, don't do it. And you need to work up to the larger loads. If you're using a smaller vehicle, it doesn't necessarily have a specific towing capacity. My car is all-wheel drive. If you're using a front-wheel drive car of this size, I would not pull this trailer with a front-wheel drive Corolla of the same year. For the first several months that I used this car, I